Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the Collider Games podcast. My name is Dennis Tzeng, and I'm here with, first, from South Africa,
Josh Weyers.
And also here in LA, probably not that far away from me, but apparently he lost his beard, but now his, he's in a chill-out mood. Looks like it's maybe 3-4 a.m., and an after hours lounge, just chilling, relaxing.
Because I got the neon lights, the RGB lights. You know, ever since I got the gaming setup, you can't have a gaming setup without RGB lights. So to all those gaming setups. So I got a bunch on my ceiling and stuff like that. I'm wearing some Lovecraft Country inspired glasses. If you've seen my latest streams and things like that, you've noticed that I've been wearing these glasses partially just because now that I have like things all over my room or in front of my living room, like the lights are already bright, and then the green screen itself, I got to put on this big fog light machine, so my eyes are just delicate little fragile things, like they can't take all the intense light, so I got to wear these just when I'm streaming and stuff like that. But you know, ever since people were like, you look like Anderson .Paak, and I've been like, all right, well, I'm a rock with that, and you know, it looks good on me, so it's a new look. We're trying it out. The beard wasn't working at all. I had to shave that right after the last podcast.
Yeah, I think I prefer this look to the beard. The beard. Yeah.
I don't know, man. That Kratos vibe was doing it for me, you know.
I was almost tempted to grow it back and try to do the beard and the sunglasses, but then I was like,
too alpha, bro.
It's just been
too much.
Yeah.
And I'm not swole enough to rock that yet. So once I get a little bit bigger, we might see both of them, a little combo. But for now,
I actually shaved. Like, which is funny. It's not that it's worth talking about gaming related, but it's the first time I've shaved. It's the longest I've ever gone without shaving, and it actually feels weird to me to not have a beard right now. Like I feel naked. It's also freezing here, so it was a bad move. I go outside and it's freezing. I know it's hot. Isn't it hot as hell right now?
It's hot as hell over here.
You guys have power issues?
There's a few. I haven't experienced any, but some people have had some rolling blackouts. But yeah, it's the opposite here. It's like super hot, and
it's disrespectfully hot out here. Like we walk outside, I feel like I'm getting sucker punched. It's ridiculous.
You guys are gonna love this. I'm actually using a heater as like my bounce light.
Nice.
That's how cold it is here.
Nice. All right, so let's get into the news of the week. First kind of big news was that the Marvel's Avengers game, the beta has been going on. We've played it. We've done some first impressions, all that stuff. But some data miners found a list of characters that may be unannounced playable characters in the future. So we don't know. There's like post-game launch, DLC. Are they all actual playable characters? So basically you have Ant-Man, the Wasp, Vision, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Falcon, Marvel, Mockingbird, Quake, Winter Soldier, Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel, Kate Bishop, She-Hulk, War Machine. Now, out of all of those, Dorian, which one are you most excited for?
I feel like you're setting me up because you know which one is going to be my answer. I'm excited for all of these, but a good chunk of these I was already expecting them to be in the game, like whether it be start post-launch or just throughout, like the first 6 Ant-Man, all of them, I expected those to be in the game. But what really drew my interest was that the fact that they're potentially including Quake and Mockingbird, because you know I'm an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, ride or die, been there all 7 seasons now. They just wrapped up their series finale last week. R.I.P. Love you show, but Quake, for them to be like even still extending her character, like still involving her, although it be a game, still like keeping the character alive. I think that's pretty interesting, just in case like they might have future plans for the character. Because the way they left the ending of the show, I'm not going to spoil anything. There's definitely room for her to pop back up. So that definitely like drew my interest, her and Mockingbird. But overall, I'm pretty excited about it. Now, it kind of sucks that these have been revealed in the first place. Like I would have liked to have these surprises come along the way, or when they felt like they were announcing them. But for the most part, I'm not, like I said, too surprised. A good like 11 out of the 16 or 15 we have, I pretty much expected to be in the game.
Yeah, Josh?
Playability-wise, If we, you know what, we have the time. I think we have the time. Dorian, do you want to give me the quick Spark Notes version on who Quake is? Because that was actually my biggest question. I don't know who Quake is.
In the comics, she's a mutant, but in the Agents of Shield, in the MCU, they made her an Inhuman, and basically her powers are to control vibration or the molecules around vibration. So basically,
Oh,
she
wow.
can, yeah, so she's pretty powerful. She like her main move is like to shoot vibrational blast and cause like little mini tremors and earthquakes. So I could definitely see them
Fun.
like utilizing her powers within the game. I think there'll be some interesting use of her powers because I if anything I could see them tying her storyline because she is an Inhuman and they've been promoting her as an Inhuman across all their platforms. I could see them trying to weave her storyline in with Kamala Khan because they did mention in Agents of Shield that she wanted to like meet her and do a crossover. So I could see them trying to tie her story in. So I'm pretty excited about that.
And she's played by the super hot Chloe Bennett.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend.
That
she's on quarantine
Dorian
right now. We're quarantining apart, but that's my girl, so don't worry about that.
Social distancing, I love it.
At last Comic-Con, me, Perry, I think, was it Adam? Who else was with us? I think maybe Thad.
Yeah, I think it's me, you, Thad,
and
Perry.
Dorian were at this YouTube party, and and then I think Dorian left.
Yeah, I went with some other friends I linked up with we went to another party.
Dorian left, and literally like 5 minutes later, Clark Gregg and Chloe Bennett like walk right past.
Oh, Dorian.
And I text her, you should not have left.
Nightmares. I still have nightmares about that day. Like it still haunts me to this day.
Oh man.
So,
that makes me think of the day that Michael J. White came to the office and I missed it.
oh yeah,
I missed that one too. I wasn't there either.
But yeah, going back to the question you asked me, Dennis. In terms of playability, I'd say I'm most excited for either Doctor Strange or Black Panther in terms of actually playing with. Because, well, my other question, like, that's not a question really. I'm just wondering what the move set would be for Vision. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously he's going to have flight, so that you can, I'd imagine a lot of the flying mechanics would be similar. But yeah, I'm most excited for Black Panther and Doctor Strange in terms of fighting with. And now that you told me what Quake's powers are, I feel like that would also be like really fun combat. You know what I mean? Playing with Quake.
Yeah, I'm excited to see just how they're gonna like. These are 15 different characters. I know some of them in terms of fighting style, like the Winter Soldier. I could see them trying to kind of like have the same play as Captain America. But for some of these, I'm excited to see what they try to do to differentiate it so it's not the same type of moves. Like if you're adding 15 new characters to this already, we already have 6 or 7, including Hawkeye, and it's like, how are you gonna make it so where if we're going to keep adding them, how are you going to make it so where it actually does feel like each of these characters is diverse and not just a reskin? So I'm cautiously optimistic because 15 that seems like a lot to try to add different variables to. So we'll see. I'm excited.
I got a couple questions for you guys regarding this list. So first of all, do we know if any of these will be included in the base game, or are we just speculating that these will all be DLC?
Well, I'm going to say
speculating.
I'm assuming like because I know Pym was already mentioned and he's a character, so I would assume like Ant-Man and the Wasp are probably in story game for the most part. But besides that, I'm not sure.
Well, because Ant-Man is listed as Ant-Man 2, which I'm going to assume that Ant-Man 1 would be the older one. You know, like not Scott. You know what I mean? Yeah, Scott would be the second Ant-Man. And then it's my other question. Well, it's not really a question. I think that they're going to do this is probably going to be a season pass. You know what I mean? Do you think that they're going to keep all 15 characters? Because that's a lot. Like I can see them in the process possibly scrapping a couple characters, especially the ones that are similar. Like I don't get me wrong, I love War Machine and She-Hulk, but it's like I feel like that could just be a reskin or just like give, you know what I mean, like reskin and then use the same moveset, which is not something you want to see, but in terms of development and saving money and time crunch, it's possible we might see that. So I don't know. I'm definitely excited for it. I mean, a couple of the other people data mined that they don't think that will be playable, but they'll be in game. I'm going to assume as villains or whatever, is like Frenzy, Ultron, Red Hulk, Deathlock, Vindicator, and Monica. They're probably just going to be in the story. That doesn't seem like they'll be playable. And what I feel is worth mentioning is that this was all data mined from a guy whose username is 6 + 4 = 52. So I feel like we do have to take everything with a grain of salt. But yeah, no, it's also like, I don't know. I feel like Captain Marvel would have been in the base game. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I feel like Captain Marvel would have been. That's why I'm like worried. Like why? Like are these all DLC or maybe a couple of them like sneaky going to be in the base game when you get it?
I'm
Well,
not
it's
sure,
interesting
but
that it says it has Marvel as well. So because I don't know Captain Marvel's like comic like history to T, but I believe she like her powers originated from Captain Marvel. So I think that's if anything that might be the reason why it might be story based for her, or like she might be part of the story itself. Because if they're introducing Marvel, if they're introducing Marvel before they introduce Captain Marvel, and I think they're going to try to give us a little bit of her like background story before she got her powers. But this takes place like during while Kamala Khan is obsessed with her, so she's already in this universe. She's already flying around and stuff like that. So it might just be like a little introduction to her character. But I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, I don't know how much of these will be in the base game in terms of story, because it's just going to weave, like, having to weave so many of these characters in. Maybe if they're maybe cameos or whatnot, and then later as DLC you're able to play them. But yeah, Dorian, another concern that you mentioned, was like certain characters being too similar. Like, is War Machine going to be too similar to Iron Man? Is She-Hulk going to be too similar to the Hulk? Winter Soldier too similar to Captain America? We want to have like different characters, but not just be visually different than what we're already playing as. And also, and this is also with the characters you already can play with, you have this varying degree of power, right? Like Captain and Marvel versus, like Winter Soldier, the power differential is tremendous. And then how do you keep that, balanced in the game?
It's
Because,
oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, Dennis.
no, I was just gonna say, technically, Captain Marvel probably just beat up everybody in the.
She's OP technically, yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to trace back to something that you said earlier, Josh. I think it would be interesting if they kind of did it with the season pass type of thing, especially with their upcoming like the Disney Plus shows with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Scarlet Witch and Vision, like them getting their own shows. So kind of be interesting if they try to like use that to try to tie it in or market it as their DLC. It's like, all right, we got this upcoming show, let's drop these characters or something like that for Falcon, for Winter Soldier, for Scarlet Witch, for all those. So I don't know. I think more in line, I think it would make sense to do a season pass rather than just
individual sales.
Individual, yes. And I think they said that all the characters are going to be like, regardless, everything will be free once you have, like, if you bought the game, like all the updates and stuff will be free, I believe. I don't think they're going to be charging anything, so that's good. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe they said.
I remember they said something like that in the beginning, like no microtransactions, and everything that's going to be released DLC is supposed to be free, which
that's a big promise, man.
Well, also, maybe they didn't say no microtransactions, but maybe no microtransactions for any like game advantage type of stuff.
It doesn't seem like you could work microtransactions into that game except for possibly cosmetics, and even then you'll be limited to whatever is in canon. This is actually, because that was going to be my question to you guys, is would you prefer having a season pass for all the characters? I mean, if it's free, even better, but let's go with the situation that it might not be free. Would you rather pay for a season pass, or would you rather pay per character individually so you can nitpick? Because personally, I would rather pay per character, because I don't like them.
I do nitpicking. That's the same thing I do with Apex Legends. Like, even if you buy like a season pass, you would still have to individually unlock those characters. Correct. Or like have the coins. But if I had the option where it's like, all right, buy the season pass for this much cost, or each character here which will be a little bit less or significantly less for one character, I'd rather do that, just because maybe I don't want to play with all the characters. Like for Apex, I only have a couple mains out of the whole ensemble now. Like, I don't want to pay for all these different characters if I don't plan on using them. So if I had a season pass, like for example, I was just about to bring up, if Hawkeye is already going to be the first post DLC launch, or it's going to be introduced or something, like what's going to be different between his gameplay and then Kate Bishop, who is his successor, or like who's like how are you going to really differentiate those two characters' gameplay. So it was like, I do plan on playing with her if she's available, but if I had the option, why would I pay for another, if I could pick between Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, like, why would I have to pay for the same character twice? Especially, I feel like that one is going to be more in line to a reskin because they both have the same moves. So I don't know. We'll see.
Here's what I think they're going to do. And well, maybe it's what they should do. I think that they should release the season pass or character pass, whatever you want to call it. $20 is a reasonable price because I've seen a lot of, like, I know $20 is hefty for DLC for a season pass, but that's the usual, you know what I mean? And I've seen a lot of other games that do include like having extra characters as at around $20. And what they should do is not release them all at once. You release your season pass, $20, and then like once every second month, like drop 2 characters. You know what I mean? Like every like 2 months, just drop 2 characters because that gives you the time to actually spend on working on new move sets as well. And then if that season pass is successful, that means that there's a huge possibility of a season 2 pass and adding new characters and doing the same system again. You know what I mean? Which would be, it would be smart financially. Once again, I would rather like, because I only want to play like 3 or 4 of the characters on that list. You know what I mean? But then again,
I mean, I'd try them all out, but I'd probably hone in on a few that I'd only
exactly, yeah.
All right, let's move on to my favorite news of the week. That that I got. It was actually Dorian who hit me up. He's like, "Did you hear? Did you hear?" I was like, "No, what?" And he's like, "Ghost of Tsushima is getting a free online co-op mode called Ghost of Tsushima Legends, and it's coming in fall." And it's free, and it looks pretty badass from the trailer. What's interesting about it is that the game itself, I know you haven't played it yet, Josh, but this isn't a spoiler, but it's set in a realistic setting. So there are some
Didn't I ask you about this before? Remember when I was like, I asked both you guys, I was like, please tell me that they're using some of the folklore, and now they're finally using it.
So, but they have like these tales, and they have these mystical things that supposedly happen in the game, but when you kind of investigate them, they turn out to be, oh, this is just an exaggeration of something that's realistic and whatnot. This one, on the other hand, goes full on mystical, fantastical. They're taking all the lore that they talked about in the game and created a kind of like a fantasy version of that. So the interesting thing that I was, reading about is that, yes, it's co-op, but it's only co-op. Like, you can't play it by yourself. Like, you have to play it with another person, whether it's a friend or with online matchmaking. Yeah. So it's 2 to 4 players. Yeah, minimum 2 players. Because like something, like Halo, right? You can play the campaign co-op, I think up to 4 players. But if you want to, you can play the campaign by yourself. This is like co-op only. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited about this. And they have different classes: samurai, hunter, ronin, or assassin.
Why did they not call assassin ninja? Why did they not call the assassin the ninja class? It makes no sense to me. Sorry, carry on.
Well, I think maybe because they're creating these, I don't know.
Missed opportunity, but oh well. Well, then again, I think ninjas went around back then. They only came around a couple, much later on. You know what I mean?
Not that much later on. If you had watched my Ghost of Tsushima sequel ideas, you would see that I mentioned ninjas in one of my sequel ideas. They did come later on, but they were still
by 80 years or so or something.
Oh no! I mean, it was still like a good whatever,
120 or something. Yeah,
something years. But we are. For anyone watching who hasn't seen the video that I did, I have 3 sequel ideas, and one of them included ones with ninjas and using like real ancient Japanese history and how they could integrate that into the storyline. But anyways, Jordan, what'd you think when you first heard about this news? Because it kind of came out of left field, right?
Yeah, I was literally just scrolling through Twitter, got a notification because got Ghost of Tsushima notifications on lock. So when I just saw a tweet, I was like, wait, what? And then I read it, and I was like, wait, what? Where did this come from? Why? Out of nowhere, completely out of nowhere, no rumors or anything about it. So I was just, I was super excited. And the fact that it's free, because I've already said this before, that right now, or as of right now, before playing Cyberpunk or anything like that. This is my game of the year. So for them to even be adding on extra content within the same year, within the same like 4 or 5 months that it's been released, it's just adding extra hype to why it's going to become my game of the year. So I'm definitely hyped for it. And I thought it was interesting too, is just like how they really, like you said, leaned into the mythic elements, because like you said, it's going from the mythic tales that are the third like type of option quest that you get to do. So for them to really be leaning into that and to actually make it depending on 2 or more people, I'm excited, because one thing they emphasized and said was that you have to work together. You have to be in sync with whoever you're playing with to make sure those moves or those combos are pulled off. So the moves already in Ghost of Tsushima are beautiful and badass and deadly and just look glorious. So I couldn't even imagine trying to like make that like double that and being succinct with 2 or 3 or 4 people and pulling off these string of combos and action sequences. So definitely excited for it.
Yeah, and it's like they said, wave-based survival missions, and then also a 4-player raid. So I'm interested in how much story elements they're going to bring to this. Obviously, from a visual side, they've definitely changed things up, and it's a different look and feel to the game. Now, I'm wondering, like, I mean, it says story missions. I'm just wondering how.
Yeah, that's for the 2 players. Yeah, it's just I think the story co-op is 2 players only.
Okay.
Which makes sense to me, considering that I'm going to assume it'll be similar to the base game. You know, at least how they would run it. Like it'd be difficult to like fight one boss with 4 people, you know what I mean, or whatever. But no, man, dude, I'm just excited for this because this was like the biggest thing that I wanted from this game. I mean, I didn't want it as a multiplayer version. I just wanted, like, imagine playing Ghost of Tsushima and you're just walking through the hills, the grass is flowing, and then out of nowhere you look left and there's just this like Oni demon just kind of like murking on the ground, like walking up to you. Like, I wanted that like mythical part to it, specifically because I love the art style of this game. So at the very least, I get to have these Onis, these yokais, these like Japanese folklore and mythology. I get to see that in this art style, which I really wanted to. It is it's one of those things where I was hoping it'd be more, I don't know, maybe the story co-op missions could be giving me what it is that I'm craving from this game. But yeah, I'm just happy that they're doing it, because I was like, in my head, when you guys told me that there was no like mythological or like folklore kind of elements, like you said, that I guess they'll talk about it, but it's a real game, you know what I mean? Like, I thought that was like a wasted opportunity. I was like, they should have had like some secret DLC or something where they actually go into the realm of like Onis and yokais, and like, I think that would have been sick. So I'm just excited for this, man. I still haven't played the game yet. I'm still saving up. I just dropped a lot of money on a new condenser mic, which will be getting here in a couple of weeks. Because I lost a job last week that paid $3,000 because my quality wasn't high enough.
Yeah,
I know.
That sucks.
That sucks. Yeah, they strictly said, because they could tell right off the way. They're like, you're using a digital mic on here. I was like, unfortunately, with like compression software and like, didn't matter. They're like, get a condenser, hit us up again. But, like, so that was $3,000 missed, which sucks. So yeah, got myself a condenser mic on the way. Excited about that. Still haven't played this game yet, but the minute I get money, I'm gonna get this game. I think I just booked a gig this morning that pays $100, which isn't much, but that'll pay for the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then you can spend the time to beat it, and by the time you beat it, the online DLC will be out. Then hopefully you, me, and Dorian can co-op together. Hopefully they don't have the region restrictions like you guys had on so Valorant.
Yeah, no, that'd be sick. The 3 of us.
All right.
Doing a wave by wave. No, I'm excited for that. It's an absolute win as well. The fact that it's free, like, and it's a good idea wise. The fact that it's coming out now, there's still, it's going to boost their sales. Like, at this point in time, they're probably, obviously it's been a while since the game's out, so obviously your sales are going to go down. Your biggest sales being opening weekend, first couple of weeks. So if anything, I feel like this announcement is going to start boosting those end sales up again. So it's a very strategic thing that they did, and I have a lot of respect for them for that. Like, most companies would have waited like till the end of the year to even announce it, you know what I mean, and like would have charged you $5 or $10 for it.
Yeah, definitely. It's puts a good kind of value to the game that already is worth the $60, and this adding on top of it, kind of like when I played Red Dead Redemption 2, like the online component was just kind of extra on top of a game that already was well worth the $60. So All right, let's move on to the next thing. This one you guys will talk about more because you guys are more intimately familiar with this. Apex Legends Season 6 came out. They have a new character, Rampart. They had a Battle Season Pass trailer. So far, Dorian, I know you streamed a bunch of that online. How is it? How's the new character? And what do you like and not like about this new season?
I don't think I have too many complaints. I guess one of my, if it's not a complaint, I guess a nitpick is that now all the Evo shields are there's no real shields. Everything is just the Evo shield now besides like the gold armor. So now when you land, like you start off with 0, you can like build your way up to inevitably getting a red shield, but they weakened them now. So you only get 3 bars instead of 4. So not really feeling that, but besides that, I think it's a great new season. I think they added a lot of new things because there's another thing now called the operator, I believe. Could be pronouncing it wrong, but it allows you to you save up bitcoins or coins around the land, and you can go and put them in a machine and create you can boost up your shield, buy a weapon, do different type of things like that. So it adds a new type of thing to the game that we haven't seen before. And specifically with Rampart, I love her gameplay thus far. I've still been playing a little bit more with Mirage. That's my main, but I've loved her gameplay. If you've seen my little video on her, just highlighting her character, I think she's super deadly. I know some people are complaining, saying that she's a camper or whatnot, but everybody has their different type of style. Everybody adds something to the game, and I think she adds another. She's a great wall, great defense. So definitely a much needed character in my opinion. And another thing that they added was the Volt SMG, which was a gun off of Titanfall 2 and Titanfall, I guess, but I thought it was a new gun. But it seems like they're taking everything from Titanfall. But I'm loving it. I got 10 kills within one match because of it. Some people are saying it's OP, but I'm loving it. So I guess I don't know. I don't think it's too overpowered. They might have to nerf it just a bit, but overall, I think it's a great new gun, a great new addition, and loving Season 6 overall. I think it's probably my favorite thus far just because of everything they've added to it.
Have you played it yet, Josh?
I was trying to get a game in right before we started. My update finished literally 10 minutes before the time. So
yeah, I wanted to play
update
too.
It's huge, dude. Yeah, I think it was a 10 gig update.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And on the PC, because I had to update it on PS4, it's 25 gigs. On the PC, it was 15 or something for me. But it's just that just shows how big of an update this was and how much stuff they've added. It's a new game. It feels completely what am I trying to say? Rejuvenated, I guess.
Dude, if you look at the trailer, it already looks so much more fast paced than usual. They're really showing off that whole the movement system that's been there for a long time, but they're showing it off in a better way. One of the things I'm oddly enough the most excited about is they now have these hollow sprays, which is instead of spraying a wall or spraying the floor, which you would get in most games, you throw down a disc and your holographic spray shows up. And I think that's so sick because there's nowhere you can really spray in Apex unless you're indoors, you know what I mean? And you're not going to spray the ground. It doesn't make sense. And people are going to walk over it. They're not going to see it. So if you have some salty emotes or you have some really you want to throw some shade, you have a digital freaking spray. It's a holographic spray. Dennis, it looks so cool. You throw it on the ground, a hologram.
Oh yeah,
shows
I saw
up
that in the trailer.
I can't wait to kill someone and do that. I'm the guy, 100%.
New age graffiti or whatever.
It's the new teabagging, bro. I'm the guy. If I kill you in a game, I'm gonna teabag you. But now I don't have to. Now I can be classy. I can throw it on a hologram. I can throw it on my hologram spray. Super excited about that. I think they were showing off a new skin for Pathfinder in the video.
Yeah, Pathfinder has a new skin, Mirage has a new skin, and somebody else has a new skin,
Bloodhound,
the battle pass.
Yeah.
I got Mirage's new skin just because I had to buy the stupid battle pass again. Bro, Apex Legends is taking all my money because I've had to buy it.
This looks like a good battle pass though.
It is a good battle pass. I'm not tripping about it. I just had to buy it on the PS4, and then I was like, oh crap, I got to buy it on the PC because they don't let you have your accounts. No. But I had to buy it on PS4 because I play with people on the PS4. But the PC is my main to go to now for everything, especially Apex. I think it plays better on the PC
It
anyway.
looks
So
better, dude.
yeah, it looks more crisp and everything. So I've just been focusing more on the PC. But yeah, I like Mirage's new skin, and this is the first battle pass that I bought on the PC. So this is the first like skin I've got to put on him since then. So it's
All right.
nice to not
Seeing
have
as
to
you know,
do
seeing as you
skin.
know what skin I'm talking about, don't you think Pathfinder's new skin makes him look
No,
like
wait.
The Boston Dynamics robot? He
Wait,
straight up looks like the Boston Dynamics robot with like
are
the
you talking
yellow
about
bars
are you
across
talking
him.
about the red and white and black one?
Oh, no, yellow, yellow. Not from the battle pass, but from the trailer. He just had like these yellow bars over him. It could be a normal skin, but he looked like the Boston Dynamics robot. I digress. Going back to the new character that they added in, I haven't played as her yet. You have, I do. I mean, look, a minigun, you're gonna have fun with that thing, no matter what. But I enjoy that the fact that you can throw down the shield and then you can shoot out of the shield. Like there's like the bottom half is
Yeah.
like. Sorry, I see. Yeah, I do mean shield. Like the bottom half is like a proper wall, and the top half is this like see-through part that I guess stops damage, stops you from taking damage. But you can shoot out of it, and when you shoot out of it, it boosts your damage. So you'll
Yeah,
actually get like
it
yeah,
destroy it. I can see why some people are mad about it because, like you said, if you put down the shield and then you put down a little turret and just
dude.
aim at one
Right.
spot, and especially if you're third partying another team and they're fighting, you just post up and just like let it rip. And then the cool thing about it is like your character is you can just place it down and another character can use it, so it's
Really,
shareable.
that's sick. That's
Yeah,
sick. That's
like
that's a bit OP, dude.
anybody
Yeah.
on the team can use it. Like her, I understand some of the complaints about her character, but at the end of the day, I think she's a pretty. They'll just have to nerf her in a couple updates or
Yeah.
so, but her ultimate does damage. And the thing about it is, there's no you just have to reload. There's no like you don't run out of ammo. You just press square when you're getting low. You reload that bad boy and just let it just keep lighting them up. So I
And then,
love it.
yeah. And then representation, like I'm just happy about the
Yeah.
fact that we get like a female Indian character in a video game, you know what I mean? And one that isn't like some serious like cliche or stereotype. It's just like they did like I don't know, that's what I like about it. It's just like that's someone I feel like I've definitely met someone like that before in real life, you know what I mean?
And her quips
it's
and
enjoyable.
and her quips and just her lines, like how they talk to each other and stuff like
Mm.
that. She has some funny lines, but also some of her lines are like, damn, like she's insult, like she lays it on people. Like
Oh yeah.
her jokes are funny. Like I think they like Mirage. I think she's one of the better voice. Not all the voice actors are amazing, but I mean in terms of like funny and like humor, I think her character definitely adds something new to the whole roster.
Yeah, she seems like a unique like I mean, look, Apex has always been good at giving us really three-dimensional characters, you know what I mean? Like which is interesting because it's not a story-based game, you know what I mean? But they're very good at these character building things. So I think they nailed it once again with this character. I'm looking forward to playing it. I'm down to play some
Let's
with you
stream.
afterwards if you're
Yeah,
down.
that's what I was about to say. Let's because I think we've played Apex on the PC before. Or was it PS4?
No, we played on PC. We played one
Okay,
game.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
no lock, country lock. So let's stream after.
Cool. All right. This next story, this one kind of took the internet or the gaming world by storm out of nowhere. This trailer dropped, and normally when you get a trailer from a relatively unknown studio, you know, you don't really, there's so many games every single year, but this one kind of took everyone's attention the past day or so, which is Black Myth Wukong, which is based on the mystical and fantastical story of Sun Wukong, which is a story that I grew up learning. People know him as the Monkey King. He's the basis for the main character in Dragon Ball, which I don't really watch.
Goku,
but,
yeah.
Goku.
He's got the
Yeah,
staff and everything, yeah.
Yeah. So he's like a Japanese interpretation inspired
Did you not know
version
that?
of him. What?
Mine is being blown over here.
Dorian didn't know that
Yeah.
Goku was based off of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King.
Yeah, so Sun Wukong is like one of the most famous kind of figures in kind of folklore in Chinese history, and he has a lot of different powers. But anyways, in this game trailer, apparently like they released this the studio called Game Science, which is only like 30 people. They released this trailer, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and just it racked up so many views, and it was all like positive, like people talking about how awesome the graphics were, the animation and the lighting, and wondering like when this game is coming out. And they've kind of updated it more with a translation saying that it's not coming out anytime soon because it's still pre-alpha gameplay. But the reason why they released it was to draw attention to it so that they could get people on board, whether investors or potential employees, to help finish off the game. So definitely not. It's definitely not coming out in 2020. So maybe with enough, resources, we can see like a 2021 release. And I hope it's one of those multi-platformers. Like I hope it's like PC, Xbox Series X, PS5 type of release. But the thing that captured everyone's attention though was the graphics and the gameplay. It's the action adventure RPG style, much like Ghost of Tsushima or Assassin's Creed or whatnot. But it's kind of the first time you've seen a serious and also kind of like almost I don't know if because it's not a AAA studio, but like this kind of taking this very seriously, and even the one of the founders, I think his name is Feng Ji, mentioned that like this footage is like they're saying like, oh yeah, there's all these things wrong with this footage. We can make this so much better, et cetera, et cetera. So
it looks great though.
Yeah. So, it's got everyone hyped, and I hope that they get all the resources they need, or some sort of major studio sees all the attention and hype that's going around it and attaches them, not to like, divert them from their main goal, but just to give them the resources needed, and also the marketing and distribution that's needed to make this something bigger than just, oh, this indie cult game hit. Make it something bigger where it's like, oh, this is one of the AAA titles that is coming out next year or something like that. Josh, you said you were pretty excited when you saw this.
Dude, it's just one of my favorite I know you grew up with the story. I never really read or watched the original Journey to the West, but I've seen every possible rendition of Sun Wukong. You know what I mean? Like it's like just from like old school martial arts movies to anime to video games. Like if I'm playing any kind of multiplayer game, he's an option to pick him as a character, I'm 100% gonna pick him. It's just, and it's stupid to say this, but it all started for me with Goku, obviously finding out where Goku came from, and then I started getting into that, and then the old school martial arts movies, and there's so many, and it's interesting because, like you said, it's a very serious take on this, and there's so many different versions of the Monkey King. There are so many different versions that have been created. Like I said, I don't know what the original is, but I know that there's been so many other artists' take on it that it's like, to me, Sun Wukong he's a bit of a jokester, a bit of a prankster. You know what I mean? Like he likes to play tricks on people, and like this is a lot more. I didn't see any of those elements involved. Maybe they will add it in. This, mind you, like you said, this is super early footage that we're seeing, so maybe they'll add some other elements in there. Very happy with the design they chose. Very traditional, but also they sharpened it up, if you will. You know what I mean? Like the main one that you see in the beginning. I have a couple of things that I'm assuming is going to happen with this game, combat-wise. Actually, before that, let me go into the most amazing thing about this game is the cicada. The fact that you can transform into a cicada and fly around places where you don't want to have combat. Because if anybody watching this has played any Dark Souls game or like Bloodborne or any Souls-inspired game, do you know how handy it would be to be able to just poof, disappear and then go around the most dangerous corner in the game that you don't want to go around and then carry on with the game? I wish that was an element that they put in other Souls-inspired games, because it's when I saw that, I was like, that's a genius gameplay idea. Because for real, sometimes you just get unlucky. You walk around the corner and there's two epic bosses and you're like, well, I'm dead. I'm level 2. I'm screwed now, So it's nice that you have that option to turn into the cicada, fly around, avoid those people, and then fight the people that are more on your level. Combat looks great. Obviously, he's using the bow staff, which is traditional. It's what he uses. Yeah. I didn't see it get extended at any point in time, or it didn't get bigger or larger, which is also something that's very more towards his character and the things that he does. Even Dragon Ball Z Goku, his staff extends. A lot of Chinese martial arts I've seen, his staff extends. Didn't get to see that. So maybe that's a moveset that comes on later. But then it's interesting because in the footage that we see, there's this guy he fights with this flaming bow staff, right? And then later on, towards the end boss fight, he equips that staff and he turns into the person. Then right before the end, where he's about to kill that boss fight, he gets stopped by like another bow staff, and you look up and it's also Sun Wukong, but obviously a different version of him, like more like older or like, you know. So I'm assuming
looks more powerful.
Looks more powerful. I'm assuming that you're going to be, whenever you fight, I feel like you're going to be fighting characters like Sun Wukong, and then when you defeat them, you get the staff. And when you use the staff, you turn into that version of him. At least that's what I'm going to speculate here, because the transformation when he went into the flaming dude was really sick. And then also, like, I mean, you saw the transformation of him turning into an actual giant freaking like gorilla monkey thing.
The demon monkey, yeah.
The demon monkey, which just... And then, like, well, Dennis, you grew up with it, so you know how iconic that ending scene is of him fighting in the clouds. That is iconic. I've seen that in so many Chinese martial arts of the Monkey King fighting on the clouds, just hordes of enemies. You know what I mean? So they really hit the nail on the head with this one, I think. Considering it's 30 people, that blows my mind, because there are some things that I don't like about what I saw, but they're so trivial that it's not even worth me bringing up. Like the hit effects. I wasn't happy with because everybody else had like crazy hit effects, but then if you're like the normal Sun Wukong, his hit effects were very like dismal, you know? But that's something that they're 100% going to fix in the future. There's a point in time where in the boss battle, the dude hits him with fire, the guy's fur catches fire, and he jumps from like roof to roof, and you can see the fire slowly going away. The environments like you can destroy parts of the environments. It looks like there are going to be boss battles where you're fighting literal giants, which I'm excited about. Even if this game gets like a big publisher or a big developer to help it, I don't think we'll see it in 2021. I think that's very maybe right at the end of 2021, but I could see this as like a 2022 release for sure.
Mm-hmm. Dorian?
Bro, so I want to echo a lot of what Josh said, but the main thing that got me, I'm not too familiar with any of this, the mythology or anything like that. So coming into the game, when I just started the trailer, I was like, what we're gonna play as what are we flying around? Why are we flying around as a bug? And then as soon as he transformed, I was like, what's going on here? All right, what's up? And then as I started to see the gameplay and everything pan out, by the end of the 13 minutes, I was like, all right, here, take my money. Like, who do I need to help to get this off the ground? Because for it to be like a pre-alpha, that looked amazing. I'm ready to play it right now. So I think that was an excellent proof of concept to use as your first promotional thing to get buzz, try to get these potential investors. If I'm Sucker Punch, I'm like, hey, can we like go work with them? Let's try to talk with them and see if we can do a collaboration. Because then you just do this, you line it up, maybe put it at the end of the 2021, and then you just you do like a connected universe, a cinematic universe, Sucker Punch universe, where you have the Chinese mythology on one end, you have the Japan mythology on the other end. You just slowly unite these worlds together. But overall, I think they definitely, if I'm a studio, if I'm a major studio like Microsoft or something, I'm like, hey, let's go ahead and let's give them any type of resource they need. If they're asking for 10 million, let's give them 20 million. Like, let's get this off the ground. Let's really make this a franchise title. Because although we said there's a Ghost of Tsushima comparisons to it, I would still play this in a heartbeat. It looked amazing. And how Ghost of Tsushima didn't lean into like the whole mythic thing, and they're doing it with the co-op mode. But if this is like you're going to play with magic and things like that throughout the whole game, I'm definitely pumped for it. Blending magic and kung fu and fights like that, I'm down for it. Like this has me hyped, and this has me sold. Like, if I had any type of money, it would all go towards them to get this off the ground and running as soon as possible.
Yeah, a couple of things. Besides Ghost of Tsushima, it actually reminds me of God of War. Because God of War has based on the Norse mythology, and then this is based on Chinese mythology, so that's where you get the fantastical element. The other thing you mentioned, like someone like Microsoft, the only problem with that I foresee is I want this game to be available to everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I want people on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. So let's say hypothetically a Microsoft or Sony steps in, it's going to go exclusive to just that platform.
Honestly, I want to just go to Microsoft just so we can have a win, so they can have one, so we can give them.
They can have one.
They can have one. I wouldn't even be mad. Just give it to them. Let them have one.
Yeah. So,
Dennis, did you recognize any of the people walking, like the bad guys, if you will, the people walking around? Because it's like there's definitely a couple of like well, I wouldn't call them Easter eggs, but I like the fact that the people you're fighting is also from the folklore and mythology of China. You know what I mean? Like the people that you're fighting, which is really sick. Like I don't know what they look like kobolds. I don't know what the Chinese version of that would be, but they had like these kobolds walking around. You're like these beast people. You know what I mean? So I like that as well. There's a lot you could tell. Obviously, a lot of thought went into this. You know what I mean? And they showed like some very small clips at the end that seemed like they will have some platformer elements involved, which is great. You know, like it's the same way that like Star Wars, the Star Wars game had some platform elements. You know, you're swinging around, jumping around, getting from place to place. So I'm glad that there is a bit of platforming involved as well, just for fun. You know.
I also noticed he had his own little shadow clone jutsu. I was like, hey,
yeah, bro.
I see you. That was pretty dope.
Yeah. So this was a very pleasant surprise. Definitely gonna have to wait. Gonna have to wait a little bit longer than we'd like to, but I'm just glad to see something new, something different. You know, that we haven't seen before. Even though, I mean, the gameplay mechanics are similar to what we've done, but at least it's a story and style that we haven't seen before. And hopefully we'll hear more news. It sounds like they're gonna the way that the blog post was is like now that they've done this behind the scenes, they're gonna try and see what they can get done, but they're gonna kind of like disappear and work on the game, and you won't hear or see anything from them for a while. So
I think it's a smart choice because it could blow up in their face if they continue. Like I guarantee you there's this one dude who's at that studio who's the marketer who's like whispering in their ears going, we need to release more videos, and it's like, don't. Honestly, until you guys have a lot more, don't. Like I think it's the best idea to disappear, get what you need, get your new employees, get your funding, get whatever you can, and then bail. Do not show any, and don't show any footage until like you guys are like maybe 3 or 4 months away from release. Like, you know what I mean? There's no, because it can blow up in your face if you build hype over the course of 2 years and then it's not as good. You know what I mean? Or the hype dies down and you end up missing so much of the hype. You know, I think a Final Fantasy VII remake. It's like, I mean, yes, the game was amazing and it sold well, but like the initial first 2 years of hype, like outweighed the next 2 years of hype because it was I believe a 4-year wait from when they originally announced it at E3.
Yeah, I mean, most people. There are exceptions, like a Cyberpunk 2077, but like most people, whether it's movies or video games, 2 years is about that length of hype that most fans can keep
hold
going.
On to. Yeah. But
then the momentum starts to lose after 2-3 years. You know what I mean? That's why people are talking about Avatar. It was a huge movie, made tons of money. Avatar 2 is not coming out until I think next year, I think. So that means, it's been
I'm just
how many years?
It's happening.
It's been over how many years? Like over 10, 20.
It's got to be like, I know it's more than 8. I know it's more than 8. It's like,
well, the first 2009.
Oh wow,
so
yeah.
2009 was
11 years.
Damn.
Shit. And I mean, what he came? Didn't he write the script for this in like the fucking 80s or 70s?
Okay, it's not even next year. It's 2 years from now. It's coming out. So, you know what I mean? Like it's a long time. It's over.
Bro, and the only thing that was keeping Avatar, I guess, not even relevant, just like keeping them in the talk was the attraction. But now that COVID, like nobody's even going. All the amusement parks are closed, so nobody can't even go to.
I heard that attraction's awesome.
It is. It is. I've been there.
I'm
not gonna lie. It is amazing. Like as soon as I did the experience, I was like, I get it. Let me go back again. I fell in love with Avatar again and rewatched the movie. But then, like shortly after the buzz, I reminded myself like it's not that good of a movie. Calm down, Dorian. But like
I like the movie. I'm a defender of that movie. I know that people like to shit on it, but I quite enjoyed it.
I'm not. I think it's a fine movie. I think it was overhyped. But the experience itself, yes, quality, and it sucks that it's closed now because like I said, I feel like that was the only kind of thing keeping it afloat because the experience was so amazing. People be like, you got to go to the Avatar experience. Then it brings people back to the fandom, and the fandom, like the hype dies down, and then they just keep pushing it back, delaying it. So it's like,
did you connect hair with someone
No, bro, you know, you're like riding, like you have to put on these glasses and you're like basically flying whatever the little flying the dinosaur things are
Yeah,
called. So you're basically
there's like wyvern things.
whatever there. Yeah, I don't even care anymore. But
Wyverns,
yeah,
whatever. I don't know.
you fly as that, and then it's like a 4D type experience. They got the
Oh,
mist, they got
sick.
the wind, they got the everything going.
Nice.
So it's
Oh,
pretty
that's
cool.
sick.
Cool. All right. Next thing up is Sony is working on a VR headset, and it may not be PSVR related because they're saying that this is for like 5 years from now out type of thing. My personal opinion is it is not PSR VR related because I think they still want to use the one that was already released with the PS5 and it's compatible with that. I think this is meant to be a Quest competitor. I think they see how popular the Quest is because the PC VR headset thing is already kind of saturated. You know, you have HP has their own, you have Oculus has their own, HTC has their own, even Valve has their own. Plus, there's a lot of other manufacturers. But when you're talking about purely to to the mainstream consumer, portable and tetherless version, there's only one, Oculus Quest. So I feel like Sony is like, you know what? I think that's the future. We have this, you know, PlayStation brand. We have all these exclusive games. Maybe we can do something in that category and blow that thing up. So that's what I believe this is. I don't think it's PSVR related. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I don't think the reason I don't think it's PSVR related because the main reason is because I don't think we're going to see PSVR 2 for a very long time. If you look at the PS5 launch, like look at the color scheme, you know what I mean? Like everything's got that white and black look. Look at the PSVR that got released a couple years ago, white and black. You know what I mean? I feel like that was part of the reason, because also why else would they have showed you the new PlayStation Eye camera that's also white, you know what I mean? So they are going to be working with VR for the PlayStation 5, but and from what I know of the PSVR headset is that as far as I know, it doesn't need any improvements. It needs a machine that can output better, you know what I mean? The PS4 just couldn't output what was needed, because I could be wrong on this, but I believe that the screen for the PSVR is 4K supportive, you know what I mean? Like it's the hardware is there with the original PSVR already. They just need a better beastly machine to output better graphics for it. You know what I mean? So I don't think we're going to see like. I think that would make sense to me. You know what I mean? Is that this is like Sony making a move, not PlayStation, but Sony's making a move on the VR game, and I think that's a smart choice for them. You know what I mean? Especially because I actually had this discussion the other day. It's like I mean I don't know about in America because I never really paid attention to much to electronics there, but it's like they're not really dominating the cell phone game. They're not really dominating the TV game. They're not really.
Not anymore. They used to be the king of the hill on the TV game.
Yeah, the Sony Bravias and stuff, dude. They used to dominate, but it's like right now the only thing they're dominating with is PlayStation. So I think it would be wise for them to try to not have this tied to the PlayStation and have it as a whole separate Sony entity. You know what I mean?
I still think they're going to use the PlayStation name, though, the brand name with it, because it's so
possible,
synonymous with games. But I do think you're right in the sense that it's not going to be connected to the actual PlayStation at all.
I think it'll look similar because they paid a lot of money to own the copyright or the patent to the circlet design where. Like I said, I just wish that they didn't own it because it would be so useful for other VR headsets to have. It's just so much nicer to not have it strapped to your face. It's just hanging there. You're not actually touching it. So I think it's gonna have the same design. Very comfortable. And then it's got the peripheral screen.
But it sucks. It doesn't suck. It's just so difficult to try to maneuver all that stuff. Like trying to play the Iron Man VR game on the PS4 with all those cords. Yeah, you got it. So like Josh said, I think the PS4 itself, I mean the PSVR itself is fine. If there was a way like how Apple does it where there's an accessory or something for the next iPhone or something like that, if they were just able to do a simple accessory for the PS5 that would just a simple cord or something to make the processing easier, so where it's like you can move around and have a little bit more freedom, then I'm all for that, because I think the biggest issue I had with the system itself was just how much lugging you have to do around. Not like just because you have to have a separate box put that box to connect it to the PSVR. You just have to stand up, and it's just by the time you have all those cords, not like I think the headset itself is pretty comfortable, but once you're weighted down by all the cords and stuff like that, and you're trying to move around and do all these things that you're doing within the device itself, it just becomes a lot. So if they could just do a simple accessory that minimizes all that, puts it all in one type of thing, and add that to the PS5, I think the PSVR would succeed even better and thrive even more, because if what you're saying they're doing for the next generation device in 4 or 5 years, I think they'll be able to test it out, get it ready. And because I think Sony's always been good about being on the forefront for things like the PSP. I think had they released that now or marketed it closer to the Nintendo Switch or things like that, could have probably succeeded. I personally love the PSP. I think it had great games. So when it comes to them like venturing into different technologies, I think they kill it. So if they're going to invest and try to make their own headset, I'm excited, because if you can do something similar like with the Quest, where you can hook up a cord to the PS5 and then play like those games on the system or the device that they're making separately, then I think it would be something that you can market outside of just it being a Sony device. It's like it's universal. You can use it for anything. But if you can attach it to like a PS5 as well, that's winning.
Dennis, what do you think of that? Like Sony creating their own VR headset, untethered, no cables. Like it's its own VR headset, most likely, but then having PS5 support with like a TP Link or something with like a link cable. What do you think of the possibility of that?
Yeah, I think that's also a possibility as well. I mean, in terms of just getting more people onto the platform. I mean, that's the thing, is like the biggest complaint that I've had, and I think most people have with the PSVR, is that it's hard to set up, and it's not, while the headset itself is comfortable, everything around it.
The move controls are horrible as well. Like, honestly, they can't be using that again for the next one.
No. It's limited too. It's just you got one trigger and you got one like move, but it's not. You need something like whether the Oculus or the index valve, the Valve Index, something like that. You need something more along like that to get a true VR feel to it. But yeah. It's very interesting because, VR was something that was supposedly dead, probably a year and a half ago before the Quest came out. But now that the Quest has come out, Half-Life Alyx has come out, the Valve Index has come out, people are now seeing like, oh, okay, this is not a dead technology. It just needed improvement. And we're starting to see that improvement. And people are starting to, I think, go that way. And I think Sony sees that, and that's why I think it's very weird that Microsoft has not invested in not that they haven't invested, because they do have their HoloLens, which is AR technology, but they just haven't seemed to really put any type of resources into trying to make an Xbox VR. I mean, I thought the whole reason
the HoloLens is doing good for them, just not in terms of gaming. But it's for like doctors and engineers and stuff. Yeah,
that's a business-oriented B2B type of thing, which is great. But I just don't know why they haven't gone that route. I mean, because right now, Oculus Quest, Facebook, they're the only players in that space in terms of the mainstream consumer, and that market's just going to keep growing. So I
could give them the edge if Xbox had to come up with it. Because I mean, look, yes, VR has as its own thing. VR consoles, we see the PSVR, we can see how limited it is. But there's also all the cables and all those things. If Xbox was able to find a way to bring out their own console VR system that is better than the PSVR, then I think that'd be a win for them, and it could pull over some more people. You know what I mean?
Well, I thought Series X was going to be the one that implemented VR, but they are not. It's not in their game plan. So,
well, maybe with xCloud, who knows?
Yeah,
they could still bring out a VR system and just have it like streamed to your.
No,
VR
that'd
headset.
be great, but there's just no indications that that's what they want to do. So, this other piece of news, it's been announced that the PS5 can only use PS5 DualSense controllers. So I think with the Xbox Series X, you can use the Xbox One controllers. So you don't have to get new ones. I mean, obviously, every system comes with one controller to start off with. But if you want to buy additional ones using, let's say, your old Xbox One ones, we're fine. They said that you can use your PS4 controllers with your PS5, but only for PS4 games. So if you want to play PS5 games, you have to have the new controller, which I don't know what the hell the difference is.
I wonder if that'll just be tied to games that use the DualSense, because like I know a lot of developers are like, hey, the DualSense is great, but there's only people coming out to talk about how good it is, and surely a lot of other developers who aren't talking are probably because they're like, the fuck's the point, you know? Like I don't know, like it seems stupid to just like, it seems like a bit of a loss for them. First of all, like it's like you said, it should work, but if it only works with PS4 games, that's stupid. Like GTA 5, I mean GTA 5 is a PlayStation 3 game technically, and it'll be on the PlayStation 5, but there's going to be, I mean, once again, your whole library is coming with you, so it will be beneficial. You'll still be playing your PS4 games on your PS5, but it's just, surely it's not tied to that. If it is, that's going to be such a stupid thing for them. I feel like it should only be tied to games that use the DualSense, you know what I mean? Like, at least that would be the smart choice for me, because I'm sure there's got to be so many developers out there that just don't care about the DualSense and aren't really creating games in mind with that, and they're just like, whatever, it vibrates when you get shot, who cares, you know?
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next one. This was also a surprise to me. Microsoft Flight Simulator. There's all this hype behind it. Like, I'm surprised. Like, I remember when we went to E3, not this year, but like the year before, and they played it during the Xbox exclusive at the showcase, at the press conference, and kind of chuckled. People were laughing, just because like, oh man, Flight Simulator or whatever. But it's come out now, and people are hyped over this thing. I mean, look, it's not going to be selling like freaking Call of Duty numbers, but amongst the people who are really into this, it's like a huge, big deal. It's like IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. The guy who reviewed it was like an ex-pilot or whatever, and he was talking about how realistic the thing was, and how realistic all the airports, and just like how much you could actually do in it. And I watched the reviews, and I watched all those things, and it seems very, very interesting. I don't know. It sounds like I don't have one of those. Go ahead, Dorian.
People are only hype about this because we can't travel anywhere, so they're getting the experience here. So it's just taking them back to them being able to travel. So that's why it's getting hype, because it's putting them back in the fields of being able to venture the world.
Possibly, but yeah, I've never seen so much hype over a flight simulator before. Josh, what's your take?
Man, I'll be honest. When you put this in the breakdown, I was like, because like you said, there's so much hype around it. Like I can't, like for the past couple of days, every single streamer that I watch that isn't like a pro esports player, they've been streaming this game like nonstop. And I'm like, why? Like, is it a trend? Is it a meme? Why is every streamer I know and every YouTube content creator I know playing this game right now? And then I saw that it got a perfect 10 score, and I was like, what the hell? And then I read a bit more about it, and apparently it's because I think you have an actual Earth, like the actual world. Like you can go fly over your house if you wanted to. Like you can look out the window and be like, hey, that's my house down there. Like that's pretty freaking cool. I'm assuming that they must have used like Google World for that or something to like.
Well, they're using Bing World, like, or whatever Bing's version of it is.
I didn't even know Bing had a Bing World.
Yeah. Bing has
crazy.
Their own maps and everything. They have their own search engine. So anyways, it's pulling information from Bing Maps.
Oh man, I do enjoy a good. The thing is here, like I've never ever been drawn towards Flight Simulator. Like I've played Flight Simulator as a joke. Like I played this Flight Simulator where there was a multiplayer mod, and like we were like air traffic control, and you can like crash into other people's planes, and very different. You know what I mean? But I love aerial games. I used to play this one game which was literally remote controlled airplane simulator, but you hook up your actual remote control. So it's like I used to love flying RC planes and stuff, and when it is bad weather outside, you can't do it. So I bought this computer game because you hook up your actual controller, so it's like you're practicing real life physics and everything. I used to love that, and there's definitely like a market for these types of games, which is why they brought it out again. I don't think they were expecting the amount of hype around the game when they released it, you know what I mean? Cool though. What a weird, like 2020 has been weird, man. Like who would have thought Flight Simulator in 2020 was going to get a 10 out of 10 score from IGN?
Yeah, when you're thinking about the two games that for IGN has given 10 out of 10s this year, one is The Last of Us, and Part 2, and the other one is Microsoft Flight Simulator. So
that's bonkers, man.
Yeah. I'm interested in checking out the game. I don't know about the whole, because it's like realistic, right? Like you can fly from there's like people flying from San Francisco to Las Vegas or whatever, and it's like the full hour-and-a-half flight that it takes to get there. It's like I'm more interested in the takeoff and the landing, and then any type of in between landmarks that you can check out. But I don't know about
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know about the stuff in between,
I would ideally, if I was going to play this game, I'd get myself a little biplane, like the little tiny biplane. Because look, I feel like if you're in a Boeing, you know what I mean? Like that's the proper flight simulator experience, is if you're like in a commercial plane flying around doing the real things. But I'm like, hell no, put me in a little like crotch rock out of a plane, bro. Like I just want to fly to the freaking Statue of Liberty and pop some circles around that baby. Like put me in a biplane, put me in a stunt plane. I feel like that'd be fun.
They have exactly small planes, so
they do. They've got the biplane
planes. And then for the hardcore, they have like $150 version that gives you like more planes and everything. You can fly to like any airport in the world. I don't know. For me, it's just like, the interesting part would be flying, lifting off from one place, but then I would skip. Let's say if I wanted to fly from New York to, let's say, Paris, I'd skip the part in the middle where it's just ocean. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Who wants to go like 14 hours of that? Like just give me the takeoff and the landing. So, but yeah, I think it's funny. Any interest on your part, Dorian?
Hell no, I'm sorry. I will not be checking out the flight simulator. If it was in VR, maybe I do that. I do it that way, but I don't have any interest in sitting there flying. It gives you the amount of time. So like, let's say I was flying to Texas or something, it'd be 4 hours. I just sit there and watch the screen for 4 hours as I flew. People like that. People do that.
Apparently, people who are like really into flying.
Like I said again, I feel like they're just capitalizing on the fact that people shouldn't be traveling. So they're like, let's put it now. This is the best time. Now everybody's just trying to get their time back and enjoy it, even if they have to do it from the comfort of their own home. So I guess it's cool.
All right. All right. I think that's it for topics. I know, Josh, you were mentioning some updates in terms of the Epic versus Apple.
Yeah. So
lawsuit.
Fun. So worth mentioning, if you have Fortnite on your mobile device, whether Android or iPhone, you are still able to play because it's downloaded, it's on your phone. But obviously, as soon as there's an update, you will no longer be able to play. So it's like this is kind of the law. They're having like a Fortnite Cup, and it's the last cup that'll be like completely cross-platform with everything. And you can win a couple of cool things. Like one of them is you can win an actual hat. And it's like this like denim black hat that says free Fortnite on it, but it has like a llama head with the rainbow. Like, do you remember the old Apple logo? It was like a rainbow with the bite taken out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally that logo, but it's a llama head instead because it's Fortnite. So they took that old logo, they said free Fortnite, and I think was it the first the top 20,000 people, the top 20,000 scoring players will get this free Fortnite hat, and then also the top 1,200 players will actually get, like, they're giving out like 1,200 pieces of hardware, like cell phones, computers, whatever. They're like actually giving out like real legitimate prizes, not like cash prizes, but so it's just like throwing even more shade towards Apple, where it's like, hey, you know what, we're going to take you to court and we're going to give out a bunch of free stuff to everyone. Everyone gets free stuff. 20,000 people are going to be walking around wearing a denim hat that says free Fortnite with the Apple logo, but it's not, you know what I mean? It's crazy. I like that. It's sneaky though. It's quite cool. I don't know how the event's going to work, but I think it's cool that they're giving out actual free stuff. If you're in the top 1,200, you get free stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, another thing that happened too was Apple decided to retaliate against Epic by not only punishing them but punishing developers. That anyone using the Unreal Engine.
That's like, I feel like that's gonna hurt Apple though. That's so stupid. We're gonna remove all the Unreal Engine games off of Apple, and it's like, well, that's like what? That's gonna cut into your profits from like microtransactions, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways,
but, I mean, they're
yeah.
So.
Last bit of Fortnite news is ever since Chapter 2 of Fortnite, each season so far, we've gotten a superhero. The first season we had Deadpool, which was great. I love the fact that you can play. You even get Deadpool without the mask, so you can see his cancer face. Then they did Aquaman this season. You can even, and there's a mode where you get shirtless Aquaman, and it's clearly Jason Momoa. And now they are leaking that, or they're teasing that it's most likely going to be Thor is for the next season. They're going to be releasing Thor. So I thought it'd just be good to talk about those updates, but that's about it from my side.
Yeah. What was the other thing? Oh, I mean, we're all looking forward for DC Fandom, which is starting tomorrow. They decided to split up the event into 2 days. I think one tomorrow and then one, I think, at another date. But I think they're
September 12th.
Yeah.
But both the game reveals will be tomorrow or Saturday, the August 22nd, depending on when you're watching this.
Yeah, they had conflicting events, so they didn't want to steal the thunder from themselves, so they split it up. We already had the Batman logo reveal yesterday. Matt Reeves tweeted that out to see the new Batman movie logo. You suppose we're going to see the Snyder Cut teaser tomorrow. And then,
did you hear that they removed the line from the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, supposedly what the Superman one. Or yeah. So, and then hopefully we'll get the Batman Court of Owls teaser. Hopefully we'll get the real name of what they're going to call it, and the Suicide Squad teaser trailer as well. It's funny because I know Caboose, he's so hyped about the new Batman Arkham game, and they've been doing those teases on social media, and today was the final day, so everyone thought it was going to be some big reveal, and all it was just another tease for tomorrow. Yeah, it's just one of those things where
shame, man. Caboose has been following this for a year or more. Every time we have him on the podcast, he's always talking about those little yes. Easter eggs they're dropping off.
Well, I think Arkham, is it Arkham City's his favorite game? Which one is it? Arkham Asylum?
I think it's Arkham.
I think it's Arkham City.
Yeah.
Because Arkham City is the big open world one.
Yeah.
I think it's Arkham City is my favorite as well. I liked Arkham Knight. I just think that they were too heavy on the mobile, the being in the car combat. It's you barely got to be Batman. You were just the Batmobile, But yeah, Arkham City was
now tight. On the PC for the first time, going through the trilogy on Epic Store. I can't remember which one I bought it on, but it's $60 total for all of them. Even though they were giving one of them away for free but I missed it. I wasn't in the PC game yet. But yeah, I'm going back and playing through them just so I can get some hype going into the DC Fandom. Might stream a little bit of it, but just been focusing on the Apex for the foreseeable future. Got the Apex bug again.
What are you playing, Josh?
I've been playing a lot of Valorant, every single day. I've been playing ranked. I've been grinding my way, dude. I don't know why, but I'm taking this game. I've never taken a game seriously before. For me, it's always been fun. You know what I mean? And then my teammates get angry because I'm just playing for fun. But I'm taking this game so seriously that it's I want to enter competitions. I actually want to go pro at this game so badly. I love playing it so much. I'm just so upset that I can't. I mean, I can actually. I figured out a way I can play with Dorian, but then using a VPN, I end up losing a lot of speed, so I'll have lag.
Yeah.
But still be fun content though, I suppose. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Valorant. Was going to get back into Apex because I can see on Discord Dorian's playing a lot of Apex when he's on Discord. So I've been updating Apex so I can play some Apex with Dorian. But other than that, just a whole lot of Valorant, Fortnite, because I play Fortnite casually. It's one of those games you can, in my opinion. There's so many bots in the game, you can play it casually, But yeah, loads of Valorant. That's about it. Other than that, I've just been busy. I've been busy with other things.
I've put a pause on God of War for now to play some UFC 4. Just been playing more of the, matches, just getting a little better because it's harder than the previous versions. I still need to go back to my campaign/career mode. One other note is it's game related, but it's not an actual game, is the documentary series High Score. Out on Netflix now. I've watched the first episode. It's about kind of competitive gaming in the beginnings of it, and all
like
the way
Pac-Man High Score and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Space Invaders. The first episode's about Pac-Man and Space Invaders.
Do they cover how he had to prove again because people were coming out saying that he actually lied about his original high score, and people were trying to get his Guinness World Record taken away from him, and then he got it back again? It was a very this happened like a year or two ago. It was like a very weird situation with regards to his Pac-Man high score.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, this is more of like the history of, like talking about how these games became popular and what, I guess, scoring / competitive gameplay means, So
yeah,
this is a limit. Go ahead.
Oh no, I think I watched like the first episode and a half. Like it blew my mind. Well, for some of the stuff, like it's not a spoiler because it's actual history. But one of the things, like the arcade part where they realized people were like beating it and not coming back, so they had the upgrade thing. I was like, that is so goddamn like, what the hell? That's smart as hell. But that blew my mind. So just watching this, I've been learning so much. It's ridiculous.
It's the 80s version of microtransactions, right?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
They're like, oh, we're not making enough money. How do we do it? Let's just make it harder.
Do you remember Metal Slug? How much money you would spend on Metal Slug? Because it's like you would die like this, and you just got to keep popping in quarters, dude. Do you remember when we used to have a 3-letter nickname for our high scores on arcade machines? What was yours, Dennis? Surely you had to have a go-to one.
I just did DEN. Instead of my initials, because my initials are DYT, so I always just do DEN because it's just just a lot easier.
I just always had mine as triple S.
For the very few times I ever like played or even had a chance to enter like my 3 letters, it would just be MDP because it's like that's my name, but it goes like MVP, so it kind of has that same ring to it. But yeah,
nice. So yeah, anyone listening to this podcast or watching, check out High Score on Netflix.
And I think we have some coverage of it on the site as well.
Do we? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think Dave reviewed it.
Nice. All right, Josh, where can people find you?
I'm still currently rebranding. I do have the name though. I'm actually literally talking to this dude on Instagram to get him to delete his. Like, I'm gonna pay him to delete his account so that I can get the name. Because I want the same name across all boards. But I'm going with Thespis, which was from Greek history. He was the first ever actor, which comes from the term thespian. I just think that just rolls off the tongue though, Thespis, Cool. But yeah, currently still rebranding. So you guys can find me right here on this amazing podcast and nowhere else. I'm exclusive to Collider. All right.
Nice. Dorian?
You know where to find me. You can find me on Twitter, Dorian Parks and Rec. Find me on Instagram at Dorian Parks, and you can find me here on Collider Games.
All right. And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, Instagram, Dennis.tzng. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Collider Games. Subscribe to our podcast feed. That's the Collider Factory feed for this podcast, plus interviews and all other good stuff every single week. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Later.
Peace.